All right, so for the record, we are here discussing the assignments. So this evening we are, discussing the assignments. We would normally be going on to the topic of interventions, like a totally new topic. I've decided this week we just want to reflect on what we have been doing and discuss the assignment in full so you can get those going. The semester is extremely short. There's a lot of work to do, and so we're not using up the entire class the entire time this evening. We're just going to go through these, and then I'm going to leave you to spend some time in your groups. All right, so that's the idea for today. All right, so we were discussing assignment number 1, and I'm imploring you, please read it through very, very, very carefully. I find that a lot of the mistakes that people make, it's because they don't take the time. It's a lot. It's very wordy. As you guys can see, I have the instructions in very detailed way. I put the presentation of assignment, i.e. what I'm expecting in the written assignment. So I'm expecting A, your findings, B, analysis of findings, C, your goals for behavior change, and D, reflection. So, hi, Belinda.
Hi, Miss. Just a question because I was trying to get in and couldn't, so I think I came in a little bit late. Yes. I heard you discussing the team player survey. But included in this assignment is that we should use other tools. Are you saying we should only use one in this instance, or are we still going on to use other tools?
It's just, it's just the team player survey, right? That we're doing, that we're giving out. I'm looking at the assignment. No. I've said that in the past, I've asked you to do both the personality inventory and the team player survey. So this year, it's just the team player survey. But if you're referring to the section that says useful tools, stroke materials for analysis, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Then yes. So let's get into what the analysis requires. Ooh. Am I getting a feedback from you, Belinda?
I'm sorry.
I think I may be getting a feedback from you. your mic. Where are you? Yeah. All right. Thanks. It's better now. All right. So I was saying that let's get into what the analysis requires. So your analysis should include significant insights gained from the exercise. And I have an example here. Example, under what conditions were you most likely to play a particular role? In other words, when does the communicator in you emerge, or the challenger? So what this is assuming, guys, is that even though your results will say that you are a communicator or a challenger, you'll be one of those, right? But nobody's totally any one thing. As the results will show, you have high marks. We say you're a challenger or a communicator because that's your high score. But you do have scores that cover other 3 areas. So what this is saying is that you also can be a communicator, you can be a collaborator, and you can be a challenger, right? But these different roles emerge at different times. So when do these roles emerge for you? Include as well your personal reactions to your findings and the exercise in general. So, for example, are the findings consistent with your views about yourself? To what extent are you accepting of the findings? How comfortable or uncomfortable was the exercise for you? How impactful was it in terms of your goal for greater self-awareness? So that's just one of the things that I'm expecting in your analysis. Do we understand this point? Any questions on this point? Yes, Belinda? Or is it
So
Michelle? Yes.
So it is really to what extent we agree with the outcome of this survey. And to the extent that we agree, we are to say why and so on, right? No?
Yes. So do you agree, for one, right? But more importantly, or also importantly, not necessarily more importantly, but also importantly, when you observe, as you observe yourself in interpersonal, in your interactions, right? Even though, say, your high score is the communicator, but do you see moments of the challenger in you emerging? Do you see moments in you of the of the collaborator emerging? I want to get a sense of your familiarity with these different roles, your self-familiarity, if there's such a term, with these different roles. Am I making sense?
Yes,
Okay.
understood. Yes.
All right. Chantal, and then Anna.
Yes, good night. Good night, everyone. So I was
Hi.
asking, are we supposed to be using specifically the Parker team pair survey, or is it that we just find one and use it but make
No,
reference to it?
no, use Parker.
Use Parker. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, use Parker. I like when we use the same thing because I have a good point of reference. So use Parker for sure. That's the one that we're using. And so we're all talking about the same roles at the end of the day. Communicator, collaborator, challenger, and what's the other one? Yes. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Miss. I have a question. You had previously mentioned that in our findings, we can communicate further with the persons who completed our the survey to further elaborate or provide examples
Yes.
of why they selected that option
Mm-hmm.
for us. That
Yes.
information that is provided to us, do we place that information in the findings? Say, for example, the person would say in meetings, I am very interactive. I can further elaborate on that point to say, for example, it is observed that I provide very positive feedback, or I provide very valuable information.
Yes, because your findings is definitely more than just saying that you are.
What you found.
Yeah. So
Okay, so elaborating on the points.
yes, and it says here feedback gained from your interviewees or from the persons who did it on your strengths as well as your areas for development. So yes.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anna, you had your hand up?
Yes, Miss, it was on the point before this one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, just want to see if I understand clearly. You're saying
Yeah.
that because I received both my surveys back from both persons,
Right.
and surprisingly, well, satisfyingly, I should say, okay, the team player roles. So there are the top ones were very close, separated by just 2 points, actually. 2 points
Okay.
on one and 1 point on another. You're
Okay.
saying, based on the findings, the analysis, sorry, that I'm supposed to say how I identify that I play these roles at different points?
you're talking about the other roles that were not.
So the one that's closest to the so my highest score was 52 for one. So you're saying the one I got 54, I should still mention that one as well?
Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, I want you to mention all of them in a way. So, not in detail, because it says here, under what conditions are you most likely to play a particular role, right? So say your top role was what? Collaborator. If you're a collaborator, you're the big picture person, right? You are the person in the group who is asking about you're saying this is the project, these are the objectives of the project, what do we want for even the end, that kind of thing, right? And what this is saying is this is your default role. Now, what happens is when you read Parker, what he's saying is if you find yourself in a group with somebody who is also a very strong collaborator, right? You may assume perhaps your secondary role. So you won't necessarily struggle with the individual to take on the role of collaborator. You may find yourself fitting in nicely or assuming, say, the role of communicator. That's one instance where you may not play your dominant role. Another instance where you may not play your dominant role is when a role is missing, a role is clearly missing from the group. So you go into a group and there's no communicator, right? It's a group of people who are saying, we're here to get the work done, no fun, nothing. The group is just about the work. You communicator is not a dominant, it's not your most dominant role. However, you are very self-reflexive. You are monitoring what's going on, and you see the need for a communicator, and therefore you employ that role because it's needed for the group. Got it?
Yes, miss, you explained it perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So the objective, guys, is that I don't want us to leave here thinking that although we're dominant in one role, it doesn't mean that we don't play the other roles. And sometimes, even though we're dominant in a role, some of us are so team-oriented that when we see a role missing, even if it stretches us to perform a particular role, so if it stretches us to be a communicator or even to be a challenger, you may not necessarily consider yourself as the person who asks the group the hard questions that need to be asked. You see the group going down a particular road and you're like, I see the danger at the at the end of this. And so you assume that role very quickly to get the group to see itself for what it is and where it is going. So yeah, we're everything pretty much. But by default, one appeals to us more than the other. Yeah, so that's the analysis. That's just one of the points in the analysis. I have 4 points here. The other point is to know that you're able to to elaborate on these insights that you've gained about yourself. The second thing is that you're going to apply some theories to it now. But how can you make sense of this given all of the information, all of the knowledge base you are learning in this course? So applicable concept theories, tools that you learn in this course that facilitate new or deeper understanding of behaviors in a group setting. And here is where now I say you can pull on some of these tools down here as a guide to help you to understand this. So you learned about the Johari window, course learning cycle. I mean, these are some of the specific tools. You can also talk about your personality. What you learn about your personality, is it consistent with this team role that you see yourself playing? You know, so so you can pull on those as well. You can pull on information that you've gained through the presentations, the actual course content, the individual in the group. Maybe there's a part of a lecture or a part of the presentation that stood out for you, that was very meaningful for you, that helps you to make sense of this data and about yourself, so you can use that as well. So that's what I meant when I said applicable concept theories and so forth.
Okay,
So
I understand.
yes. So the third thing now is implications for self-monitoring, behavior change goals, and future actions. So include a statement on the extent to which this exercise will influence your future behavior in a team. So at the end of the day, what did you learn about yourself? This is what this question is asking you. And are you comfortable, for want of a better word, with these insights about yourself? Is there room for change? And so, how would you like to change? How would you like to see yours changing in terms of how you interact with persons in a group? So that's what this question is asking here. So self-monitoring clearly is the ability to observe the presenting self, right? Which is how other people are seeing you. You're always cognizant of the image that you are projecting the person, and the feedback, the whole exercise of the group is to kind of give feedback on this. So I think I am very communicative. I think I'm very helpful. I think I'm always on time. I think these are thoughts about yourself that you think that you are portraying in your interactions with others. Now the feedback will confirm or disaffirm that information about your presenting self. So self-monitoring is always attend to the presenting self, which is different from, well, as you know, in social psychological terms, is different from the private self, or the self that you feel is more vulnerable, the self that you don't want other persons to be exposed to. So yeah. So we're asking you now, when you get this feedback about this presenting self, about this person that you think you're presenting to the world, and it doesn't look like how you think it should look, or they say it doesn't look as the one you're presenting to them, do you have any goals for behavior change? Is that one clear?
Yes, Crystal.
Okay, good. And then the final thing is the importance of behavioral assessment, such as this one and the MBTI, to the workplace in general and to the HR professional in particular. So this is, your overall application of this whole process to HR, to the profession of HR. Yeah. So is this important? Is this an important part of the role of an HR professional in an organization, or is this something that organizations should be pursuing? Yeah, and what is the effect of this, or what could be the effect of this in the workplace? Yes, so that's that. That's a general reflection. That, guys. And finally,
Sophia, could you repeat that last one for me, please? Number 4.
The importance of behavioral assessments such as the team player survey and the MBTI. So although you're not doing the MBTI as part of this assessment, I want you to include it. Think about it as an important HR activity. So comment on the importance of these kinds of assessment in the workplace in general and to the HR professional. This is a general assessment of the whole process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Currently, of course, as you know, some of this occurs in the workplace. For the hiring of very senior officials, the MBTI or a battery of tests are used to ascertain personality, interest in work, leadership skills, all of those. But generally, these tests are not carried out on staff in general. Is that true? For people who are in the workplace now, working in HR? Are these tests?
Yes, it's very selective for us.
It's very
selective for us. We don't do it for everyone.
right.
Very senior positions.
Yeah, because it's onerous. It's very time consuming, and it can be extremely expensive as well. So, but is there a space in general for staff members? I'm just curious. Having done this course, and you are, say, head of HR or just head of a department. Some of you, I'm sure, if you aren't so now, you are leading or managing people in one way or another. Would you use these tools to understand your staff members and to work with them well? Yeah, well, I'm just curious. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to see how well they fit into the culture. Yeah. And I can tell you too, when we talk about intervention next week, the very fact that you expose persons to these tests sometimes is an intervention in of itself. So they begin to feel like they matter, like you care about knowing about them, and immediately behavior change begin to occur. So it's important, right? So that's the analysis, and then the C part, which is those 3 marks. I just want you to make a statement about the behavior change, a behavior change goal that you have. So it says, take a look at your findings and your analysis and identify a few tendencies, qualities that you would like to change or improve. Now state specifically what behaviors you would like to work on based on insights gained. You should also attempt to outline some of the clear initiative towards behavior change. That is what you tend to do as a result of the insight described above. So this course is not saying that it is encouraging you to think about behavior change, but you're not being assessed on whether or not you carry out the change at all. What we're curious about, or what we want to know, is the extent to which you've identified these areas, these gaps, and your plans towards improving or changing or addressing. So that's what it is. We don't know if you'll carry it out. We hope that you do, but a part of goal setting theory, one of the tenets of goal setting theory says that just writing the goal in itself is it induces change or motivates you to change. So I guess that's what's behind it ultimately. And then the final thing is another 3 marks for the comment on the general merit and the limitation of this exercise. And guys, if you notice, these are just 3 marks. I don't need more than a paragraph at all. No more than a paragraph. So please include your completed inventories as well. One I have here. If you don't, then I'll deduct grades from it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, they can be uploaded as well. The thing is, I want you guys to keep everything in order, right? All the inventories that persons have completed. At the end of the day, you begin to develop a portfolio, I would call it, of you. So you get it back ultimately. And I don't know, you can keep it for the next 20, 30 years. But it's you, it's for you to keep. So I want to see you include these completed inventories here as well. Yes, Anna.
I mean, something just came to me. I'd just like to make sure. How do you know that we actually gave out these questionnaires? Like, is there something that we have to do to indicate that it's sorry, authentic? Is it that the person has to sign it, or can we just, because in my situation I didn't have them sign or anything, so I was just thinking about that just a lot.
No, Anna. Good question, but no, I don't even have persons sign. Ask persons to sign it or anything like that. I am just relying on the fact that you do it. You will do it.
Okay.
Hi, Sandra.
Thanks, Morgan.
Hi.
I joined the meeting earlier, heard you, then I don't know where everyone went. So I was late in joining this group again.
Sorry,
Yeah, my question is, I'm not sure how to head up this
this
survey
assignment.
we're going to be handing out. Should we just use the Department of Psychology, blah blah blah, or I'm not sure what we're supposed to do in terms of heading for this questionnaire that we're going to be sending.
Oh, okay. As you are sending it out to the person, you're saying you would like to have using like a formal channel, like you're sending out a survey. Oh, okay.
Do is
I mean, it is not that formal, to be honest with you. Meaning, you can simply talk to the person, because I'm supposing this is somebody who you know fairly well. Talk to the person. Tell them you're asking them to complete the survey on your behalf, and remember, you would be changing where you have I for your name, or if you don't want to do that, you could explain it clearly to the person. So although this team player survey really is about my completing it, the objective is to get feedback from you about me. So where you see I, insert my name, you know, during
Right.
team meetings, I would normally just, in team meetings, Sandra usually do XYZ. A
I've
good
done all of
conversation.
that.
Okay,
I just
good.
didn't know what kind of heading, or if we should just use a little introductory thing to say, you know.
Oh, if you're sending the person an email, then clearly you would give the instructions, and you could use some of the instructions as we have it here. The assignment is designed to assist us as HR professionals in training to increase our self-awareness, that kind of thing. So all of that is on the outline. So you could use some of this information here.
Okay.
If you're sending an email,
Right.
proper email. All
Got
right.
that. Thank you.
So I'm hoping by the end of this, for those of you who haven't done so yet, you'll be moved, encouraged to send it out now. As a matter of fact, you can be sending up your email right now and sending it out. Get it out of your inbox now. Send it to your colleagues. Have you asked your colleagues already in your group? Don't bombard one person, no.
Not as yet.
Yeah. But no, it's a good time. No, it's a good time. All right. So we're done with that one. We're good to go.
Yes.
Good. Yay. We're good to go. And that is, let me tell you how much marks for that. That's 20 marks. That's 20 marks. Yeah. And you
Miss,
just finished working for 20 marks a while ago.
Miss, when is it due?
Okay, so this is due December 21. Yeah, you have a long time, but don't wait. Don't wait. The reason I have this date here is because I was considering that you guys have exams as well. Immediately at the end of the semester, you will have exams, right? All right, so that is done. That's 20 plus 20. And you just worked for 10. You have one more quiz to go, which I'll do at the end. And I'll give you the quiz results here again, by the way, for those of you who are just coming. All right. Where do we go now? Hi, Chantal.
Miss, I was just wondering, does the document need to be double spaced or
Yes, double space, please. Please, that's a
okay.
standard. It's a
Okay,
standard,
great.
yeah. And did I give the page number? The page amount? Did I?
No, miss, I was afraid to ask.
You said 68
Yes,
pages?
68 pages.
I said what? Up to 8?
68 pages.
6 to 8. Thanks. Thanks. Oh yes, see right at the front. 6 to 8. That's not. Yeah, that's very manageable. 6 to 8. Yeah. I'm listening.
Oh no, miss, sorry, I need to mute.
Oh, okay. Right. That's very manageable. All right. Not including the oh yes, Sean, not including the inventory. Whoa. All right. The one now. So that's 20 plus 20, that's 40. Because it's another 20, that's 60. And here is 25. Let's do the 25 first. So 25, and then we have 15. And I know you haven't started these yet. This is the main ones I wanted to talk about right now. Are we ready? This is the one for 25 marks. Okay. All right. So this says here, conduct a study of the group dynamics of the HRD cohort 2023, right? Which is you. You're 23. Yeah. Okay. So and I have here what this study will involve. I'll go through each of them. I have A to E. Identify the areas or an area of group dynamics that you will study. So clearly here I'm saying pick one of the areas that you have studied in this course. It could be communication, it could be cohesion, it could be leadership, it could be performance and productivity. Pick one of those areas. Right? Each group, pick one of those areas. Identify and articulate 3 distinct levels of analysis: person, small group, and the larger cohort. So I have presented these different levels of analysis for you here. So you would be looking at, if it's leadership, you would be trying to understand leadership from the perspective of the larger cohort, right? You'll be trying to understand leadership from the perspective of the small groups, that's the coursework groups, and you will be trying to understand leadership from the perspective of individuals in the class as a whole, right? We'll talk about how this will actually manifest or how it will play out. So that's what I mean, by the way, when I say the 3 different levels. So it's one topic, it's leadership at these 3 different levels. All right. The third thing, which is C, identify points of integration and or differentiation between those, right? Identify points of integration and differentiation between the levels. Now here, it's important to get into the content of the area, right? So if you are studying leadership, what does leadership mean? Or first of all, how do you define leadership, right? And as you're designing your questionnaire or your interview questions or your focus group on the topic, right? What do you want to know about leadership from the perspective of the class, right? The cohort, right? Then as you're using the same questions, understand leadership within, you may have to kind of monitor the, what's the word I need? Adjust the questions even slightly at the different levels, just to make sure they're very clear, they capture what you want to capture, right? But you're pretty much getting to the content, what it is that you want to know about leadership at the cohort level. Is it consistent with what is going on in the coursework groups? And is this how individuals feel about leadership in general? Leadership in terms of their coursework groups and leadership in terms of the class in general. Yes, Anna?
I'm sorry to be asking so many questions, but
No, man.
I just
Trust
want
me,
to
this is
really
what this is about.
understand.
Yes.
Miss, you said, okay, so the questionnaires that we'll design, right?
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you're trying to, sorry, to understand how leadership is, don't want you to use the wrong terms here, portrayed or demonstrated in the larger cohort, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving the questionnaires to all the members of the class?
That's the question. It depends on the method that you're using to gather your data. So how are you gathering your data? You could you could have groups of persons answer. That's a focus group, right? Or you really could do a survey and ask persons to answer the survey. So it's a small class, meaning it's what, 40 something students in the class. So to get the feedback get responses about the cohort, leadership cohesion, whatever it is, then it would be good to get responses from as many persons as possible. You could also use observation if you don't want to bombard persons with questionnaires. You could use an observation technique, but how are you going to design this technique to ensure that what you're observing is valid? You can, but you just have to be very careful about how you do that. Yes, Chantal?
I wanted to just clarify if we're doing all three levels, or we select one.
No, I want you each group to do all of the levels, because that's the only way you'll see the points of integration and differentiation between the levels. Yeah.
Okay.
So as I say, it depends how you design the study now, depends on what you want to find out specifically. So even as you go down to the level of the group, you don't necessarily have to do all of the groups. You could do one of the groups and say you are taking an in-depth, you are doing an in-depth investigation of this particular group, which would kind of take care of a kind of case study approach, right? So,
Okay.
and then, you ask individuals. So you may ask individuals within that group, right? And the way you structure the questions to ask about the group is different from the way you structure the question to ask the individuals about the group. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So, Miss, if we're doing a questionnaire, is it that we would have 3 different questionnaires for the levels?
Yes, you would have, but the questions wouldn't be very different. You understand? Because, and this is the thing with the levels, the way you structure the question speaks to the level of analysis. So for the larger group, you are trying to understand issues about the collective. How do we approach leadership in this class? So at the overall level, this is the question that you're asking. What does the class think about leadership? Not what individuals think about leadership, right? So right there and then, I'd get a sense you would mention your class rep as, the person who carry out particular leadership responsibilities for the group as a whole, right? What group think about this particular role? How did it emerge? Is it very important? So it does not have to be questionnaires, guys, that you're asking every single person about. I missed some of these comments. Can I hear some of them? Are they questions? Hi, Michelle.
This time is just seeking clarification. When you said that we need 3 separate surveys, could we not have if we're administering the survey to everyone, do we not have one survey with 3 sections to capture the different levels of analysis?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Oh, right. I mean, 3 different levels, but it doesn't have to be 3 separate instruments, if you know what I mean.
Right. Right.
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
No. It's not 3 separate instruments. That's too cumbersome. No. But again,
Okay.
as I said though, it depends on
What
how you
doing.
intend to approach it, right?
Right.
So as I say, if you say looking at the area of communication in groups, right? What if you want to observe how the class as a whole, approach the issue of communication? What does communication mean for this entire group? You could use an observation technique to do that. So the group members collectively could be observing communication in the class, but your instrument would be factors, the specific things that you are observing. You got it, guys?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And so these same things that you are observing about communication in the group as a whole, right? Then you would now observe these things too in the small group. So in the large group, right, people tend to communicate X, Y, and Z. That's how we do it in the large group. In the large group, these are rules by which people operate by, right? There's a WhatsApp group, information is disseminated to everybody, you know, and there. So the large group, when we think of the large group, we think about the broad values that define how we operate as a group, how we behave as a group, right? Then when you are borrowing down to coursework groups, as I say, you don't have to do all the coursework groups, right? You could even pick just one coursework group and try to understand what kind of norms are guide how people communicate in this group. Is it similar or different from the norms that guide how we communicate as a class, right? And then at the third level, you're asking, how do people feel? Because remember, you're looking at individuals now, right? And the individual level is always getting to people's attitude, right? So say a question, say, that you may ask at the collective level. I've seen this question before, and I've seen this actual scenario before. When you ask the class, you know, the question, and we did a kind of Likert scale scenario. The question was, how people communicate well as a group, right? And I think most of the responses were strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Right? The group communicates well with each other. Strongly disagree, right? And then when we ask the individual question, no, I am a good communicator in my group. Then we have 90% saying strongly agree. Do you see the big discrepancy there? Guys? Hello?
Yes, miss.
I didn't hear anybody else. Is my mic working? Yeah. So individual questions get to what how I see this, how attitude towards leadership, the individual's attitude towards communication, the individual's attitude towards cohesion, whatever it is. And so when you do it that way, you're able to answer the question as to whether there's consistency in terms of the values that guide the large group, that's cohort 23 group, values that guide how we operate as leaders or how we deal with the issue of leadership in this group, right? How do the small groups operate in terms of leadership, and how do individuals in the class feel about leadership? So that is the you know, when you work with the different levels of analysis, that's what you will see. So what this is, guys, this is going to take a little bit of effort to design the study. That's what it is. It's going to take some effort to design the study so that it's not a lot, Anna. The first thing, though, is to pick your area. The first thing is to pick your area. And then you want to ask. Because remember, you're focusing on content, right? How do we lead, or how do we approach the issue of leadership in this class? And then you take it to the small group. Yes, Anna? Anna?
Well, Missy, I don't even know if you answered the question. It was a long time. I was just pointing out that you were asking about the comment section, and at the time, Felicia had posted a good question. I don't know, not too clear on if you answered it, but the question is, what would be considered a good sample size for the cohort level if we are doing a questionnaire? Felicia, Miss.
As I was saying, it's a small group. 48 is a small number. So I would say tell everybody, and then you comment on your responses. When it's a small group, you know, taking a sample is, yeah, can be problematic. Send it to everybody in the group, and then you comment on your response rate. You keep reminding persons, of course. Guys, remember to fill this out for me. Guys, remember to fill this out for me. But you would have your cutoff point, and you would go with that. Hi, Belinda.
Yeah, yes, miss. I was just thinking that we all should have, you know, a general acceptance that we would complete the questionnaire. You know, be receptive to the questionnaires when they're sent out.
Yes, yes, yeah. Right. I like this. So this is a moment for public commitment. Group members, classmates. This is really about cohesive work now and cooperation. Will you agree to complete your colleagues' questionnaires on time, please, so that they can sit back to do their analysis? I promise to complete on time. Anna is answering. Is that on behalf of everybody, Anna? Chantal? I'll take your point after Michelle. Chantal, go ahead.
All right, I just wanted a little clarity on the person analysis. So let's say I'm in my group. Let's say we're group A. So I will select any random person and we'll just ask them their perspective on the particular topic that we're looking at. That's really what the person level is discussing or should be discussing.
Yes, but the whole thing about asking any random person depends on what your design is.
Okay.
So if it's a survey design and you're asking the entire class about, you know, about the class, about the group perspective, then I suspect you could do that for the individual perspective as well.
Okay, so it's best to select one tool. Let's say survey. It's like either survey, case study, observations. So just one that covers all three analyses.
That would be good. The question is, is the question, can you mix them? I.e., is that your question?
Well, I was only thinking using, let's say, one rather than separate instruments to assess each analysis. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. All right.
Or if it mix, does it matter? And if we use one, is that okay?
Yeah, man, you can use one. I mean, you have the option to use as you so desire. That's the thing. This is not a research class, so I'm very strict on what you use, and it should be consistent with your overall philosophy and that kind of thing. I just want you to use the one that's appropriate for the kinds of questions that you ask and the kinds of responses that you expect to get.
Okay.
That's all my requirements are. So, so I'm saying, right, a survey is not the only thing that you can use. So if you're using a survey, right, I'm seeing you are asking the class, say, I don't know, about 10 questions or so on your topic area, right? This is you wanting to find out, say, about communication or leadership. So the entire group, what is the values that define leadership or communication or cohesion in this group, right? So that's the survey for the group, right? Then, if you're doing surveys, then I would also include on the same survey is the questions for the small groups as well. So say the questions 1, questions 10 is covering the large group, and the questions say 10 to 20 would be covering the small group. But the distinction would be how you ask the question. So questions 10 to 20 would say, like, in your group, leadership does X, or in your group, or in your coursework group. Versus the large group, it would say, in the larger corporate class, this is what happens, right? And then the individual questions that I would ask, when I'm in a situation to lead, this is what I do. If it's leadership, I'm a good leader. When a leader is not present, I take up the leadership role. Whatever these questions are, but the pronouns clearly would help to define the distinctions between the different levels. I versus we, and I'm versus us. We or us could speak to both the intermediary or the larger groups, but I think you would qualify them by stating clearly in your small coursework groups or in the larger class. So that's how I see a survey working. It's about, I don't know, on average 20, 30 questions, but each of the questions would be covering the different levels.
Okay.
Yes. Who was that? Is that Belinda or Anna?
Yes, Miss. The question for me is, in terms of the area, can we overlap, or you're expecting that each group will do a separate area, subject area?
Right. So each, I see what you're saying. Right now, groups are doing different areas. So I wasn't thinking that the groups would choose to do an area that they haven't done before. Meaning, yeah, each of the, I see what you're saying. So the group that did the area, like studying groups, that's not a real content area.
Right.
they may want to do the topic of communication. All right, it's fine for me. It's fine for me. It's fine for me. I don't imagine that we would have a lot of this though, but it's fine for me. Who else? Who else had their hands up?
Miss, I just wanted to clarify that
Yes.
based on a misunderstanding from the chat, just if anybody will start this. Well, I'm actually asking too because I may be wrong, but my interpretation is that we're filling out 6 questionnaires in total because there are 6 groups. It's not that there are 48 persons in the class, so it's 48 questionnaires. It's really 6 questionnaires because it's a group assignment, right? So it would just be 1 questionnaire from a group.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Oh,
not to say it's just 6, like it's not a big deal, but it's not 48, so.
No.
Yes, that's what I was initially thinking, that it would be 6 also, like Anna. I was also thinking, doesn't it depend on the type of which instrument you choose to use, which kind of research
Right.
method you apply?
I was going to say that. So thanks for that. So if it is a questionnaire, this is what will happen. If you're using observation, which you can use as another tool, guys, what it would mean is that the group would define what it is that they are observing, right? And to ensure some kind of reliability in the process, you will have to have a kind of inter-rater reliability process going on there. So all 6 of us are observing the same thing. And in the end, are we coming up with the same kinds of observations? That's inter observation. Just make sure that what you are observing is reliable. So there is the observation as a tool. Then you could, how would you do this now for the how would you observe your in group? You guys are virtual now.
That I see as a challenge, Miss.
Yeah, I know.
Because we only come into contact. I mean, we have the group that everybody posts in, and we see each other, in quotes, see each other at class. And we're not seeing each other at class.
I
So we're not seeing
know.
the body languages.
No, sorry guys.
Everybody's talking, so it's limited.
Yeah,
Thinking of
sorry guys. I don't think. I thank you. I agree with you 100%. I don't think the observation would work in this virtual dispensation. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So, abort the observation.
I think there is a degree of observation that can be drawn from our interactions. It may not be the straight laced kind of observation that we'd want to do. But I think it's something that we can gather, we can draw conclusions from. We can also, in my opinion, I could give a survey to gather the perceptions of my peers based on their observation of the class. So I think I can get something. I don't know. It may be limited, but I wouldn't write it off altogether.
Okay.
I agree with you, but in terms of what we plan to do for our thing, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Do you know
what we're going to do?
It depends on what you're doing.
Exactly. It depends on how we
depending
have a
on what
topic,
the topic.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it might be so difficult.
I'm wondering if suppose you give an activity to do to the entire class. Wondering how that would work. Not everybody talks, not everybody communicates, not everybody have access to communicate. I really don't know. It would be much easier to observe a smaller group in action. You could jump in on one of their Zoom meetings or so. That is very possible. But the entire class, maybe, well, as you were saying, you could ask persons their opinions based on their observations. All right, we're not ruling it out totally, but it depends on what you're doing. It depends on the topic. All right, tell you what, guys, design your stuff and run it by me, and then we can clarify and make sure it works. Yes, Anna?
Miss, if you were doing observation, this is a genuine question because I really don't know. Not that I'm trying to state a point, but because I really don't know. Is it the observation period? Would it be you couldn't pull from data from the past or evidence from the past? So, for instance, let's say because we have the WhatsApp group and there's the history not cleared, would you be able to use that data, or because all the classes are recorded, would you be able to go through those things, or does it have to be hereafter?
No. You
It's an
can,
overall thing.
yeah, man, yeah. You can refer to your experiences, your past experiences of the group.
It's just a pity, miss, that for especially the recordings of these classes, a lot of persons who never come on mic, they contribute to the class, but they always type in the comment section, but we don't get to see the comments.
So if you're using this, I don't know to what extent you could use the oral part of it, because
Would be limited.
yeah, I wouldn't disqualify, quote unquote, disqualify persons who are not talking up, because we
That's
don't
fair.
know everybody's situation. Some people genuinely don't have the computer not working. Some people's backgrounds are very noisy, that kind of thing.
And also too, Mrs., that you would note that there are persons who don't talk a lot in class as we are now, but they talk a lot in the smaller groups.
Exactly. That's what I'm
group.
saying. It would be easier to observe people in their coursework group, much easier. But
Miss,
bigger
look at
class.
the comment section. I didn't notice, but Felicia is saying that the comments are recorded, and then Cashel is saying it says recording messages in these chats. So truthfully, where do those go? Because I don't see them for real.
The chats, I do think the chat is recorded.
It's just not posted.
I do think so. I don't.
You know, it's true, Miss, because when I do classes for Arden for real, when I get the recording, I get the recording of the audio separate from the recording of the chat.
The chat, yeah, it should be there. All right, so we're not ruling it out. We're not ruling it out. The observation. So that's how the survey would work. That's how the observation would work. The other thing that you guys could use is a qualitative method, like a focus group. But for the individuals, you would have to use, say, an interview type scenario. So in the focus group, you would just invite, say, 2 or 3 groups of persons from the class, and you decide how you're going to arrange the group, say, maybe females versus males, younger versus older, depending again on what you want to find out. So you would have, as I said, 2 or 3 groups. You would, design a focus group or 3 groups for the main class, and then you may use one group for the smaller group. So you may say, okay, this is what pertains as according to the focus group data. And I want to drill down, and I want to investigate it in one of the group. So here you may decide to go to one of the group meetings, right? And actually ask questions about their communication process or their leadership process. So you're asking them. So you ask them for a half an hour Zoom time, and you'd have it recording, because that's one of the things for focus groups, recording the information so you can go back to distill the data. And then now you could ask the individuals in the group individually how they feel about the leadership. So it's not the entire class, it will be just those 6 individuals that be asking. So that's another method for you guys. How is that one? Yeah, that's a different approach. So the point is, guys, not all the groups need to be bombarding everybody with with the questionnaires. 1 or 2 groups could use the qualitative methods, could use the focus group methods, and focus group stroke interview method. The only with that is that you're gonna have to listen, go over the data and listen to it, go over the recordings and listen to the data to distill your findings, which can be the recordings, which can be time consuming. Yeah. So that's it. I'm glad we spent a lot of time going through that. Getting back to the actual assignment, I was going through the different steps or the different requirements. So going back, 1, we said we want to identify the area that we will study. Right? 2, we want to articulate different levels of analysis or define. 3, we want to identify the points of integration or differentiation between the levels. 4, we want to identify the factors that facilitate or inhibit integration. And 5, we want to propose some recommendations for proposing integration. So clearly what I'm saying is, if we're studying leadership, right, in an ideal group, there is integration of content between the 3 levels. So if in the large group, right, we've come to the conclusion that leadership is very valued. These are some of the leadership styles, preferred leadership styles in the group, right? Do we see the same in this coursework group? And do individuals have the same attitudes or feelings about leadership in the group? So there's where now we're going to see the distinction between how individuals actually feel about it versus what we think pertains. So there we get the big distinction between what I think it is on one level and perhaps what it is in the individual's mind. So that's the goal of this. But I've not left you there at all. I have gone ahead and given instructions on how to write up your presentation or how to present the assignment. So I have A to F. A, I want a background or overview of the program. So this is a program. We're in our 23rd cohort. It offers X number of courses, that kind of thing. A paragraph or so. Goals and objectives, rationale for this assignment. And you will find what do we want to do in this assignment? This assignment, we're trying to understand group dynamics, in particular the different levels of analysis and we want to ascertain if there's integration between the different levels. That's the goal and rationale for this assignment. 3, how did you go about your procedures? How did you go about undertaking this assignment? So here is now where you're going to write up. We use a survey method, and in the survey method, we had X number of questions targeting the large groups, X number of questions targeting the coursework groups, and X number of questions targeting individuals. So here you're just going to tell me about how you went about collecting your data and stuff. D, you're going to give me your findings, right? And in the findings, you're going to say, what are the 3 distinct levels, which we know already, right? And then we're going to say, do you see or did you observe from your findings that their integration, or some aspects of it will integrate, of course, and some aspects of it will differentiate. So what aspects of leadership are the same across the 3 groups, and what aspects of leadership is different. B is your discussion include recommendations for promoting integration. As I said, guys, remember the goal is that an organization, in a group, there should be integration of content at all 3 levels, right? So at the collective level, which is the HRD cohort group, we are thinking about a particular set of values that define us. Values in terms of leadership, values in terms of cohesion, values in terms of decision making, whatever it is, right? At the level of the groups, the course groups, right? Do we see these values replicated in these groups, right? And finally, what are individuals' feelings towards these values? Are they consistent with what the coursework group says and with what the entire group think that it is? So that is that. And finally, reflection. What are some of the challenges posed to the HRD practitioner in their capacity as internal consultants regarding the complex nature of managing the organization and its polarities? And that's 3 marks. Oh, that's a mouthful. Any questions, guys? Have you at least begun to think about the area you're choosing? Not at this time. Have you thought about the area you're choosing? Okay. All right. Anna?
Yes, miss. Did you realize that the assignments, that one that you've just completed, and the one below, they're due on the same day?
Yes, because the one below is a kind of addendum to it. I didn't even see it as a full assignment, really. I just separated it because the one below, right, you're doing a kind of self-introspection with regard to your group. And the one above, the 25 marks one, you are trying to understand the HRD group as a whole.
So wait, miss, the one below is not a group assignment?
What is your group? You're looking at your own group. The one below says, critically assess the functioning and overall performance of your group. So you are doing a self-assessment pretty much, you as a group. And submit this assessment in a written format along with your team responsibility matrix, right? And here I've just kind of dropped in the Lencioni 5 dysfunctions of a team. So I'm just asking you, as you are analyzing your group, use this model to do so. So Lencioni says at the base, for example, it's the issue of trust, right? So how has your group, how has your group handled the issue of trust? Do you still have trust issues? Have you resolved those? Have you moved on? I'm not remembering the 5 different things right now. But it's pretty to comment on each of those in terms of your own group development. Yeah. So the comment on the performance of your group using the Lencioni's model, that's 10 marks. And an overall comment on the functioning and performance. And the most of these 5 marks right here, where it says critically assess the functioning and the performance, I want you guys to include at least one submission, or at least one completed submission of your team player, of your team responsibility and performance matrix. What this means is that as you guys are doing each of your assignments, you should have been writing this up. Use it as a guide to assign aspects of the work to persons. You should have been using it to monitor when people return their work. You should have been using it to kind of monitor people's submission of the work on time too. So when we have like whose responsibility, who has primary responsibility, who has secondary responsibility. If something is, if the person with primary responsibility is not able to do the job, then the person with secondary responsibility should have naturally jumped in and take over the role. So we really shouldn't have a situation where a task isn't done because nobody's assigned to it. Or we shouldn't have a situation where a task isn't done, or some aspect of the work isn't done because nobody was assigned to it. If you are to sit down as you get this assignment with the team responsibility matrix, one of the things that it forces you to do as a group is to say, okay, what is it that we have to do? So you have to delineate all the tasks that are responsible. And the reason over the years I've kind of come up with this is that too often I've seen groups get an assignment, they rush off to do the assignment, in a very surface way. They say, okay, you do that, you do that, you do that. And towards the end of it, maybe somebody is feeling something is not right about this, I don't know. And they would come back to me for clarity, and I would say, so where is X? And the group missed it totally, which is perhaps a very important part of the assignment, because that act of sitting down as a group from the beginning and asking ourselves, what is it that we have to do, and listing out all of the different tasks based on our collective understanding of the assignment. And even in that phase 2 is where you come back to me as a lecturer or whomever and say, we don't understand this. Do you want X? Do you want Y? So that when you hit the ground running, you're not scrambling for what do we need to do, who needs to do this, that kind of thing. So that is the purpose of the team responsibility matrix, and I'd like to see a completed matrix submitted as a part of your assignment. Yes, Anna?
Yeah. Miss, just backtracking a bit, I just wanted to know for the not this one that you're on now, but the assignment that's worth the 25 marks, the group analysis, miss, where it
Yeah,
says that it says it's both oral and written.
right.
So the part of this assignment that is due with the one worth 15 marks, which is the one you're describing now, it's the written part of the first one, of the first group assignment that is due on the same day as the second one.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
the oral presentation is just, is it that the written is just documenting what we say in the oral, or
Yes,
is
it
there
is.
specific? Okay, cool.
It
Got it.
is. It is. Literally, that's what it is. Yeah. But the oral is clearly not a detailed presentation. I kind of just want to know where you are. I want to see in a way it's kind of like a feedback because I'm going to be using the written presentation to do the grading ultimately. But for the oral, the importance of including the oral at that point is that I want to make sure that you are you started, you've done most of the work, if not all of the work. Well, most of the work in that you perhaps wouldn't have written up the project as yet. Of course, you wouldn't have, but you would have some data to report. And here now is where is a good opportunity for me to give you good feedback. So if something is missing, you can know from very early, so you can make the adjustments. And
Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me
yes,
now?
yes, I'm hearing you
Just one
now.
question, Miss. I was looking at beside the oral, you have a PowerPoint presentation. Clarify that for me, please. There's
Well,
also so
well, it's this presentation. So in your PowerPoint, you're gonna give me these points here: presentation of assignment, your background, tell me about the goals, procedures, that kind of thing.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. But as I said, a lot of it, guys, is going to be about feedback for you so that when you submit, it can be really consistent with what I'm expecting. Yeah. I find this important. I've done this before and not had presentation where I give feedback. And and the groups who take the time to clarify and ask, they clearly do much better. But I know I've always been imploring groups to consult. If you're not so sure, if you're unclear, always consult with the lecturer, with the person who gave you the assignment, because you know how communication is. It's on paper, I feel like it's very clear, but the group's understanding of it may be very different. So, yeah. One of the things, one of the raps I get in my course is that mostly all the students, all of you get good grades. You do really well. And I was explaining to OMT that I'm very willing to defend it because one of my approach is to give these kinds of feedback. So when the work is being submitted, when you act on it clearly, it has to come very close to what I'm expecting. And so because of that, and persons do follow through on the feedback, because of that, as I say, at the end of the day, the grade of this course tend to be really good. So but my job, as I'll let you guys know, is to facilitate you, is to ensure that you do well, not to set barriers to say, okay, let me see how many students can get a grade. That's not what I'm here for. It's to facilitate you to do really, really well. Yeah. No, Andrea, I'm not gonna grade the presentation. Andrea is asking in the chat if I'm to be clear if we're gonna grade it. No, no. All right. What else? Where are we? Yeah, but you see though, Anna, I think Anna was it who asked about the 15 mark. You see why I would say that it's the kind of addendum to the 25 mark project, because I'm just asking you pretty much to flip the script, flip from looking at the entire group as a whole to understanding your own group, right? And in this case, I'm including the tool. Yes, Anna?
Mister, I guess then my obvious last question would be, because it's a basically you said for the 25 marks aspect of the project, the written that is due on December 4th is just documenting
14.
where we're at. So that's really what will be graded as opposed to the oral. But do you then want us to give you two separate documents, as in one for the 25 and one for the 15, or should we give you one document that has two parts for the 25 and the 15?
Oh, one document. On the
So it's one project really, got you.
Yeah, on the 14th. Yeah, on the 14th. Just give me one document with the
but
two
you want
parts.
there to be a clear distinction to say this is for the coursework group analysis,
right,
this is 15, and this is for the group analysis, meaning the major
correct
cohort.
correct
Okay.
But the presentation is only going to be, though, I don't want to hear about the 15
the
mark,
coursework, right?
The right, your course. It's just the broader assignment for the presentation. Yeah. All right. I hope you guys are breathing a little better. Are you? Yeah. All right. So there's one thing here that I did not mention. What did I mention? Do I have the peer evaluation? Did I mention that?
The peer
Evaluation.
You didn't.
Okay.
No.
So how peer evaluation works for me, right? At the end of the whole course, right? I'm going to ask each person to complete peer evaluation relating to your group, of course, what's going on in your group. Now, oh, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, so when I tally the scores for each of the groups from, each person, if somebody scores less than half, less than 2.5 of the total of 5 marks, then what the group is communicating to me is that this person should not necessarily receive the grade that the group is getting. That's how I'm going to be interpreting. I will ask the group if this is how I should interpret it, right? And then I'll get into what the issues are. If at the end of the day I am convinced that this person, did not work as hard as everybody else and should not get the same grade as everybody else, then I'm at liberty to decide what percentage of of the grade that person gets. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, we're not adding mark for peer evaluation or subtracting mark for peer evaluation. But I'm using the instrument to get a sense of how the group members feel about each individual in the group's performance and contribution. And as I say, if at the end when I tally it, say the 5 persons mark, because I said do not include your score. So I'm getting scores from 5 persons about each person. And if when I average those scores, it is less than 2.5, which is half of it, then I will consult the group about what went wrong, or what's going on here. But it doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to subtract marks for that individual, because as I say, the group at fault, meaning when we studied the issue of social loafing, one of the things that we realize is that sometimes an individual feels extremely excluded from the group. The group makes absolutely no effort to include that individual. Or I had a case. This is a real case in another grad program where the group members gave the gentleman a low score, right? So in my investigation, the gentleman was baffled. Like, he was the only male in a group of about 6 or 7 other females. So he was truly baffled. So, when I'm asking what really happened, and he said, I went to all meetings. I was there. So when I'm talking with everybody else in the group, they admitted he was there. And he said, I even bought everybody food every Saturday. When we meet X, I'm the one who get them the food. Da, 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 da. So for him, this is what the ladies ask of him. They are sitting down doing the work, and they ask of him to entertain and to feed them, and he's there for support. And so now he's confused. Why wouldn't I get the grade that everybody else got? And for them, his contribution was not, quote unquote, substantive. I'm going to throw it out to you guys. Interestingly, anybody, should this young man, should this gentleman, because it's a group of adults, should this gentleman get the same grade as everybody else? Anybody? Would you give this gentleman the same grade as everybody else in that scenario?
Miss, if the agreement is that all the gentleman needs to do is to support them, well, if it's a male, if it's to provide safety when they meet and to provide meal, and that's the agreement, then I think it's only honest for you to provide him with the grade, because it's a team. Somebody's background is a bit loud. It's a team.
Yeah.
Somebody's background.
Yeah,
it's a team. If this is what you decided on, because you're going to say, I'm doing question 1, you do question 2. This is your responsibility. It's just as saying you do proofreading, Anna, you do the submission, you do what. So that is the role, or responsibility you assigned to this gentleman. So if that's all you wanted and he did all of that, it's only fair you give him the grade.
But Michelle,
agreement. But Miss, that's the agreement.
I like your word agreement. Because what do you mean by agreement? Must it be verbal? Must it be formal?
You can have verbal, you have written. But I would blame him in the case, Miss, if it's a case where I realize I'm not doing anything related to the assignment. I'm just assisting these ladies. Even though it's kind of sad, because why would you not participate in the assignment? What's the purpose of just providing food?
Listen.
But again, it's an agreement.
This is why I paint this scenario, Michelle. I paint this scenario, and I've seen it so many times. It has happened in my group. There's a guy in the group, right? the ladies we are all meeting every Saturday. We're having fun. The ladies are talking and we're doing work, right? And I'm there. I'm the guy. Um, just hooking up the vibe, providing the food, that kind of thing. If you
Right.
ask me a question, I'm going to answer. What do you think? Yeah, of course I'll answer. But maybe I'm not sitting around the table with everybody else. I'm kind of on the outskirts. I I think it's an implied agreement that he is participating. Mm,
It is. But
yeah.
Miss, so they told him that all he needs to do is to provide support and provide food. That was the
No, no, nobody told him anything. Nobody told him anything.
oh,
It just kind of evolved, and this is how groups operate. You go the first week, somebody may say, I'm hungry. And it looks, we're hungry, and he may have volunteers. Okay, guys, let me go get some food.
understand. That's
And
different, Miss. That is totally different now. And
yeah,
Nicola is saying something which I agree with Miss Nicola is saying why no one called him out. Because if this has been happening consistently, you can say something to him. Hello, I'm not just here for food. I don't come to meet, and I'm not here just to meet and get the assignment done just for you provide food. After me never come here hungry.
I don't know. I don't know. Camille had her hand, has her hand.
Yes, miss. Oftentimes it is when we get to the end of the whole group assignment that we realize what will be evaluated on or based on. So I think it's very important from the get-go that we establish what our mission and vision and required goal is, and then we design the tasks in alignment with that, in achieving that goal. Oftentimes you will assess the persons in the group and you determine who is more suitable to carry out a particular task. In the midst of all of that, some peripheral activities may come up or surface, such as getting the food or just getting the resources, printing the paper, whatever it is, that may not be as substantive, but it must not take away from the essential tasks that must be done so that persons are not sidetracked or marginalized. However, sometimes the instrument as well limits you in terms of reporting on what these persons have done. For example, some instruments may take into account how individuals might have kept the group together or enabled the group to carry out the meeting well or something. So it depends on what the instrument is asking for, whether or not that instrument will take into account those little tasks that someone would have spent so much time doing, which contributed to the overall accomplishment of the group's tasks. So it's very important that from the get-go, we realize what we're being evaluated on and what the task should center around so that persons are not marginalized.
That's a good point. That's a good point about the instrument. I'm looking at this instrument as we're talking now. This instrument has attendance and cooperation. It has academic contribution, and it has team player. And the team player is not necessarily defined here, and this is why I'd asked the group to define what do they mean by a team player, because perhaps here's where this young man would fall very high. He perhaps would not get the top score because you perhaps will have the team leader getting the top score there, but he would perhaps fall very high. But what if in the end, for the group, the major thing was the academic contribution? Because clearly his attendance and cooperation would not be valued. So yeah, that was a tricky situation, and in the end, of course, I decided that no, the guy's getting the entire amount that the group, because when I dug deeper what it was, and this young man did very well in all of his other courses and his individual stuff, and he had a different dynamic in a different group because he brought that into his discussion too, right? But what was happening is what I'm saying, when the group sometimes is responsible, right? He felt like he felt in a way a little bit marginalized. He's the only person in the group, and he said the women, it became a gender thing. Women said they had it. Don't worry about it. We have it. They don't remember that they're saying this, in at the end of the day when they're completing this. Let's see who is talking. Yeah, they don't remember that they're saying this. So yeah, so the group does a lot to marginalize the individual, and to kind of cubbyhole them, put them, pigeonhole them, or whatever it is, and say, okay, we see you as this, and we're happy with just this from you. And as I say, in the end, the poor gentleman is looking at them like, are you guys serious? No, I mean, most of you agree he should have gotten the entire grade, which I did. Yeah. I'm looking at the comments. Anything else? How women typically behave in groups. Dogs are not easy, but this is group dynamics, guys. The dynamics are very complex. It's, a male alone in a group, a female alone in a group. What does that mean? Perhaps the female is trying to assert herself to make a point. They give her a marginal role. She takes that role. What does that mean? Does she even aware of what is happening? And I don't think he was aware when I'm listening to him and talking to the group. He wasn't even aware that this is what was happening in the group, meaning they were looking at him like, you're just here for the food. You're just here to build the vibes. We don't really need your help. You give too much joke. We feel like you're not going to be serious when we want to do the real work. That's the impression that they all had of him. So they excluded him without even recognizing. So yeah, it's important that we recognize these dynamics, guys. What was it? Yeah. This kind of work is very important. And this is why this course is done at the beginning of your program. I was just talking to the group, the cohort 22, right? And as a matter of fact, I worked with somebody from the outgoing group now, which would be cohort number 21, right? She did a practicum with me, and she was looking at the effects of, one sec, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Right, where was I? Completely distracted. Where was I, guys? What was I saying?
The outgoing member from the cohort 21.
Oh yes, thank you. Right. So she was looking at the effects of, what happened post COVID, and class dynamics and stuff. And she was saying, just being a part of this group, because some persons maintain this group throughout the entire time. This course, and we learned about each other and group dynamics, was so important. The tools that they got here was so important to carry them through, right? And it's because of the contrast of being placed in other groups and being disrupted, kind of thing. they recognize that help the groups recognize the value of what we do here, right? So in groups, it's important to get to know persons, build trust, that kind of thing. When you're just thrown into another group where you don't know people and you have to figure out who prefers this, who likes this, it gets a little bit crazy. So no matter the tenure, the length of time that a group has to work together, it's always very important to begin your group process by getting to know each other in a very intimate way so you can build trust. So yeah. So with that said, we've covered everything, guys. We've covered all of the assignments here. We have, yep. All right, so let me take this opportunity. As I was saying to you guys, I have the grades here. I am going to share the quiz results, and I'm going to send the presentation results to the group itself, because I was going to include them on the Excel or on the PDF here. But I just realized, hold on a second. Right, and I didn't send them to the groups directly because I didn't have some of the emails for each of the different groups, but I'm going to send them to the person who actually sent me the assignment. So that's what I'm going to do right as we're done here. These now are just the quiz results that I have. And I was asking for those of you who came in a little bit later, if it's okay to just place them on ORVLE, and the answer was a yes. So I will do so immediately after this. But for now, I'm sharing them here. I know. Oh, but I have to increase these. Can you see it? Are you able to see it, guys?
Yes, Miss, we're seeing.
Okay. Oh, we have people getting up to 19. That's very great.
Can it be zoomed in? It's really small for me. I don't know why.
Same here.
Is it better?
No.
No, miss, I still cannot see it properly.
Wow, it's still, this is the biggest I can zoom it, the largest I can zoom it. It's still, you're still not seeing it? You still not seeing it, guys?
I see the figures, just the fact that a document is shared. But I can't see
Oh
the
my
figures.
goodness. Oh wow, I'm wondering why. All right, I'm just gonna put it up on your VLE right now, okay?
I think
So
I
you
just
can
sent
see.
just sent it in the group.
Each person can zoom it up, just click the
Oh.
I took a picture and sent it in the WhatsApp group, guys.
Okay.
Oh, you took a picture of all of the different sections?
Yes, I did. Well,
You can click
okay.
on the magnifying glass, the purple magnifying glass, and then click the plus sign to enlarge it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay.
Oh, also, Miss Morgan, I noticed that, well, I can't say for everybody, my ID number is missing a digit.
Oh. Did it start with 0?
Yes, it did.
Oh, okay. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Alrighty. It's a long evening, guys. I do have a video that I'd like to share, but
Excuse me.
would add, yes, go ahead. Marco?
Oh, no worries, miss. I was just saying that the test, I saw that it was half mark for each question, but when I looked at the top, I saw that the grade was out of 20. So
Oh, yes.
I'm a bit
Yes.
confused, miss.
Right. So you have to divide this 20. Divide your grade by 2. So out of, you're going to get, this is going to be marked out of 10, ultimately.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not going to show the video again. I'm just going to give the class the time. So the question is now, though, do you wish to be placed in groups now to do some group work on your own? Or do you wish me to end now and you can find some time for your own group work? This time would be really for your group work, but
Yes, miss. I would appreciate the group.
okay, all right. So I'm gonna place you guys in groups right now, and I am going to leave you to do some group work. Begin the group work, actually. All right. So, any questions in the meantime? Any questions? All right, so I'm gonna need.
Miss,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the answers to all the questions, will you be getting those? Meaning
Oh,
the test
oh,
to see what we got wrong. Yes, miss.
you know, I was kind of planning to go through that. Go through the questions now.
I mean, no, miss, you don't, no, you don't have to go through it.
No, but no. But I really don't want to give you guys the questions. That's the thing.
Oh,
Because yeah, they're a
okay.
part of my data.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I do, I would have to kind of go through them orally with you. Yeah, I couldn't even put it up here because they'd stay here.
Got
They're
it,
part
ma'am.
of my data bank. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
All right, customer sign rooms, and I need how many rooms? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start putting persons in groups now. All right. I'm just gonna ask your names and then how many groups do I have? 6 groups, right? One, two, three. All right. Yes, Nadisha. All right. Abigail.
Yes. So Anna K, the group name you want, right?
Yes.
Anna
Right.
K Brown Field.
So you, Anna K.
Anne Amiel.
Anne Emil.
Corel Reed.
Who?
Corel Reed.
Okay.
Adina Coot.
Okay.
Diane Jody Predigas.
Jody.
Yes.
Where's Horrell?
And Delon Williams.
Is Horrell here? I don't see him.
He said he was kicked from the Zoom. I just realized he said it in our group.
Okay. Kadina.
Yes, Kadina.
I don't see Kadina here either. Oh, Horrell is back. So I'll put him in the group. I'll put you in group 3.
Miss
Okay.
Kadina is still stuck in traffic, miss.
Oh, Kadina? Okay.
Yes, miss.
All right. So all of you are in group 3. All right. Andrea, who are you people in your group?
Hi, Cashel Fishley,
Okay.
Sandra Williams, Latoya Chambers.
Oh, Cashel is,
Oh,
you're
sorry.
right.
Cashel, Sandra
Mhm.
Williams,
Okay. I
Sharika
have.
Brown,
Mm-hmm.
Latoya Chambers, Shanique
Sharika
DeLeon.
here? I don't see Sharika here.
Okay, Shanique DeLeon.
Shanique. Shanique who?
DeLeon.
I don't see her here either.
Okay.
Nikisha, how are you? Nikisha is in group 3. Nikisha Burke. All right.
Yes.
Okay, Anna, your group. Anna? Brumfield, your group. Your
Anna is
group.
in our group with Abigail, miss.
Oh, okay,
Yes, miss.
okay. So that's the group the first group I called, right?
Miss, when you're grading the presentation, make sure you know that I'm in that group.
Yes, okay. All
Yes,
right.
he said he was group 3. He said you would call us group
Yes,
3.
right. That's set. Antonio. Can you talk, Antonio? What group are you? What are the members of your group, Antonio? All right.
Adnan Anglin,
Okay. So,
Aisha Berry,
um, hold on. Group. Ouch. Sorry. Let me put you in group 2. Okay. All right. So who else, Antonio?
Rashina Grace, Marco
Rashid.
White,
Okay. Rashina and who else?
Carol Chauvin,
Sorry. Go ahead again.
Carol,
You're breaking up. Hello?
So for that group, Mrs. Morgan, it's Atisha, Carl,
Okay.
Sheena,
Mm-hmm.
Grace, Marco White,
Okay. Where's Marco? Oh yeah, Marco is here. And
7,
who else did you say? Grace? All right, I think I have you covered. All right, Belinda, who are in your group? Belinda?
Yes, miss. Shireen, can you take that, please?
Okay, so in Berlin, it would be Belinda Ward,
Mm-hmm.
Shireen Walker,
Hi, Shireen. Mm-hmm.
Stacy and Beckford Leach.
Hold on. What happened is that people keep going in and out of the group, so it's not stable. That's why. Shireen.
Belinda.
I had Belinda.
Stacy and Beckford Leach.
Okay, yes.
Nicole Clements.
Mm-hmm.
Kadian Edwards.
Okay.
Susan Gangasi.
Suzanne, okay.
Shanae Jenkins.
Okay.
Kerry K. Leon.
All right.
So that should be it.
I think I missed a Ganga Singh. Who did I miss?
So let me go again.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have Stacy and Beckford Leach,
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Clemetson,
Mm-hmm.
Adian Edwards, Susan Ganga Singh,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Sinead.
I think it's Susan that I missed. Hold on. But I still don't see Susan here. I still don't see Susan here.
Maybe she dropped off.
Yeah.
I'm here, miss. I'm here.
Where is Susan? I don't see you.
Wait, wonder if my name is not there.
Yes, your real name, your right name is there.
Oh.
Well, I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing Susan at all.
Seriously?
No, I'm not seeing Susan. I don't know. Maybe
When I logged on, it was Suzanne.
I'll check again. Let me see, because I'll see who is not in a group in the end. All right, Camille, who else is in your group?
So it's myself, Michelle Cole.
All right.
Chantal
Ooh.
Artwell.
Oh, hold on. People keep going in and out of the group, so it's so difficult. Chantal Hardy?
Artwell.
Hartwell.
A-R-T.
Okay. I'm not even seeing Chantal here.
I'm here. I'm here.
Boy, I'm not seeing you, Chantal.
I raised my hand.
You should be in the main room.
Yeah, she's trying to select us from the main to put us in the.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. All right, let me just go ahead and continue, and then afterwards we can sort out those persons. All right, go ahead.
Okay, you have Michelle Cole, miss.
All right. All right, so Michelle. Yes, I do know.
Okay, Karen McFarlane.
Yes.
Jennifer Howard.
Wait, I thought I had Karen. She just jumped off. Well, Karen, are you here? It seems as if she jumped off the system. All right. Chantal, I have Chantal. All right. Who else?
Yes. Okay, Jennifer Howard.
Kadian? No, Jennifer.
Jennifer Howard.
Right. Okay.
I'm not seeing Shani in the class list right now.
Okay.
Shaniki Barrett.
All right.
Are you seeing Chantal now, miss?
Chantal, nope, not yet. I'm gonna just go through and sweep and look if she was placed in the other group.
Karen just reconnected.
Let me see. All right, so Karen is in your group.
Yes, miss.
Right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. And Chantal is in your group as well, right? Hardy.
Yes, miss. Artwell.
Artwell. No, not Hardy. Okay. Hi, Horil. All right. I thought he was saying something to me. Chantal, Hardy.
Artwell.
No, there's Hardy.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Who are the members in your group?
Philip Earl, Shauna K. Reeves, Alicia Doman.
Hold on, Philip.
Shauna K. Reeves, Alicia Doman, Rashima Bennett Gonzalez, Yannick Black, Nicola Walker. Sorry.
Oops. You know.
And Keisha Burke.
Nicola isn't here. Oh yes, Nicola is here. Hi, Nicola. Nikisha Burke.
Yes.
Maybe I put Nikisha in another group. All right. So Nicola Walker.
I'm in that group also, Paula.
All right. So let me go through the groups that I have now. The group with Abigail. I have Abby, Anne, Camille, Anna K, Delon, Horel, Julian Prendergast, and Nikisha Burke. Oh no. Nikisha, you're not in this group, are you?
No.
What group are you in?
Group with Chantal Hardy, Philip Earl's group.
Okay. Okay. All right. I know. All right. Here you go. All right. So that's it for that group, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. In the main room, which I'm gonna leave, I have Damien, Felicia, Hadian, Nadisha, Berry. Are you guys all in the same group? Paula. Oh no, Rashima is not in this group. Rashima, what group are you in? The group with whom?
Shima is in the group with myself and Antonia and Adisha.
Okay.
That's Rashima. There's Rashima and Rashina.
Hold on, Rashima, what group are you in?
No, I'm Rashina.
Oh, Rasheen. I'm asking about Rashima Gonzalez.
Okay, Rashima is in
Philip Earl.
Chantal
Okay.
Hardy, Philip and Chantal's group.
Okay, good. All right. So I'll put you here. All right. Okay, so tell me if all these persons who are in the main room now, tell me. I have Damian, I have Felicia, I have Kadian Edwards, I have Nadisha, Berry, I have Paula, I have
Kadian
Shireen.
Edwards is not in that group.
I'm in Shireen's group, miss.
Kadian is in Shireen's group?
Yes, miss.
All right.
Myself and Adisha are in the group with Antonia.
Kadian is in the group with Shireen.
Alicia is in the group with Philip.
Paula is in the group with Philip.
Okay, people just keep, okay. Paula is in the group with Philip. All right. I think I have it now.
Damien and Adisha in Antonia's group.
Say again?
Damien and Adisha are in Antonia's group.
Okay. Nadisha. Okay. Nadisha. Okay. Right. That's settled. And Damien is in whose group too?
Same group with Adisha.
Okay. This group look big, so.
Must be 7 persons.
Okay, good. All right, so the main room, I have Felicia, Kadian, Shireen, Tiffany, and Yannick.
For one group?
Yes.
No, miss, I'm getting something confused.
All right, those people are in the main group. So it's just
those names that you just called, we are not in the same group. Only two of those names that you called, we are in the same group.
okay. All right, Felicia, which group are you in?
She's in Philip's group. She's in Philip's group.
Okay, all right, great. Kadian,
And so am I,
what group
miss.
are you in?
Miss, I'm in Shireen's group.
Okay. Shireen. Oh, this group looks so small. Camille, Jennifer, Michelle, and Chantal. What's it in your group, guys?
Karen,
We have Shaniki and
Karen
Karen
McFarlane as well.
and Shaniki
Okay.
Barrett.
Okay.
And Tiffany is in Antonio's group.
All right. I'm almost done. Just Tiffany is in Antonia's group. Is there a way that I can have you guys switch group as you so choose? Jeez. Because all right, so I'm going to, you can't see yourselves in your group now. Not yet?
No, miss.
Okay, so I'll have to just activate and say start.
I'm still not in a group. This is Sandra.
Sandra.
I'm in
Sandra,
Michelle's group.
yeah,
The
man.
same group that
Sandra,
Andrea is in.
Sandra, you're in the group with Andrea, Cashel, Latoya.
Right,
Yes.
but I am not in a group at the moment. I think I'm still in the main.
Right. No, I haven't activated it yet. I'm still trying to make sure that everybody's in the group.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Yes. Haven't activated yet. So this group has 6 members. Show all. I'm just going over the final thing now. In this group, I have Abby, Anna, Anne, Dylan, Horel, Jody. Who else? That's it. This is 6 persons.
You said Kadina? Kadina Coot?
Kadina Coot. Is Kadina here?
Oh, she was having some trouble joining. Okay, let me try to
She's
get to her.
probably not here. Right. All right. So you guys are set. For the group with Andrea, Cashel, Latoya, Sandra. Who else is in your group? Who am I missing?
Shanique is out today, so you won't see her in the group.
Oh, she's not here. Okay. All right. Shireen, what group are you again? Who are the other members in your group?
All right, so it's Belinda, Mary Kay Leon, Shanae Jenkins. I think Shanae got knocked off. Susan Ganga Singh, Kadian Edwards, Nicole Clementson, Stacy and Beckford Leach.
Okay. Yes, I have all of you here.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and activate the groups now. Gosh, these things keep flashing back. Unique is back in the main group and Tiffany. Unique, where are you? What group are you in, Tiffany?
I'm in Philip's group, miss.
Okay. You are in Philip's group. Philip's group look way too large. All right, some people. In Philip's group, I have Philip, Rashima, Shauna K, Paula, Nikisha, Nicola, Felicia, Chantal, and Yannick. That's 9 persons.
Yes, miss, that's correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. Whew. And finally, Tiffany, where should I put you now, Tiffany? Finally. What group is Tiffany, Turnbull?
In the group with Antonia and myself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to activate now. So everybody, man, I'm sorry this process took so long, but you still have some time. All right. So I'm activating.